I think we are live now. Thank you. Good morning, good evening, depends where you are. I'm Irene Wong. I have been a pro-am ballroom dancer for 18 years, and I also the owner of Everything Ballroom shops. Everything a ballroom needs, right? So our goal is to help ballroom dancer have a wonderful journey and to share our experience. If you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Everything Ballroom. Today, I'm so excited to have this couple to be our guest. Their story will be super interesting. Josh and Stacy Tilford will be our guests. They are a teacher and student pro-am dancer couples, and then competing together. Plus, they have a studio at their home. Um, and council counters, they also have been pro-am dancers and winning a lot of, let me spotlight myself. Um, uh, Also been, pro-am, getting a lot of titles through all dance styles. They are also owner of the Dance Manor and proud affiliate of the Unity dance community. So I can't wait to welcome them and learn from their experience. Without further ado, let's welcome today's guests, Josh and Stacy Tilford. Yay!
Hi,
Welcome,
everybody.
Josh, and welcome, Stacy. Thank you so
Hello.
much to joining us in your busy schedule.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
Okay. Let's get started with warm up the audience and tell us a little bit fun fact about yourself that not many people know. Josh starts first.
Well, I had something else that I was going to say, but we actually have a studio in our house. Stacy is sitting in the office connected to our in-home studio, and that's where we do the majority of our teaching. Or, well, I do the majority of the teaching, and she has to listen to the music all night long. So,
That's very interesting. I just know about that this first time, so that's very interesting. Stacy, how about you?
A fact that someone people don't know. You said, is that right?
Yes, yes.
We love pugs. We have two adorable pug dogs, and I was one of those people who didn't really understand why people loved their dogs, the way that they did until we had our dogs, and now we are committed pug people.
That's good. I have so many friends that are dog lovers.
Yeah.
I myself haven't experienced that, but my kids and, my family, a lot of them have. Maybe I'm going to experience that later. So thank you for letting us know and then encourage us to try. So
Yes.
that's good to get to know a little bit about you. Now we started to get to the meat and trying to our poem dancers going to learn from each of you. So let me start with the top teachers. So it is so hard to have top teacher as a students, right? So I always tell my friends and say it's so important to find the right teacher. Your teacher defines who you are and then how you're going to learn and your journey to have a great journey. So now you have been 5 time first place top teacher and top 10 teacher consecutively for 10 times. Um, how do you achieve that? What do you think is the core? And how, as a pro-am dancers, to look for new teachers if you're not you in your area to identify a good teacher?
yeah. So a lot of the things that I'm going to share are values that I try to espouse in my teaching. So they're going to go kind of hand in hand, like what you should look for as a an amateur dancer, and then as a teacher, how I was able to do that while basically bringing my students along for the journey, and they lift me up and I lift them up, and so it's basically it's like a family. So really, to become a top teacher, you have to have some amount of quantity, but really quality of students. So if you look at the point systems in the different circuits, you will notice that first places are weighted more heavily than sixth places, right? So you can have a ton and a ton of entries, but if you don't make it out of the first rounds, and if you're not placing highly, it doesn't matter if you have a ton of quantity, you want quality as well. Um, and so for me, the top teacher thing in the beginning, when I was a brand new teacher, I really wanted to kind of make a name for myself. And I was young, so it was a little bit about me in the beginning. But over the last 10 years or so, it's become more about my students. So I haven't been winning the top teacher stuff as much recently. Still been able to be up there, but I haven't really gone for it like I have these last few years. But so for those teachers who are wondering, how do I do this? Really pick a circuit and go for it. So pick global, pick Dancers Cup, pick the World Dance Sport Series. That's the biggest one. But pick a circuit, read all the rules, and make sure that you follow all those rules so that you can you're eligible for the prize money and the trophies and all that fun stuff. But really, I made it about my students and my team or the studio and not about myself. Well, after the first couple of years. So, so making it about my students, about the team. Students can go for top student stuff too. So letting your students know, like, hey, you dance all four styles. Let's see if we can get you like top overall bronze or top overall silver or top smooth or something. So making it about the students and then also the team. So you have to build your roster. You need to have a variety of ages and levels, and making sure that you don't have too much overlap because that can cause some team drama. And if you do have team drama, you have to make sure that you handle that as quickly as possible, because so many times I've seen so many wonderful ballroom teachers that have great students that love them. Like if there's team drama, I've seen students leave the teacher because they can't stand the team. So making sure that you have the right team dynamics and basically um, making sure that if there's any problems that you handle it and that you're good at conflict resolution. So that's that about top teacher. Did you want to know
And I want
about?
to add to that
Sure.
conflicts. That's
Yes.
a very interesting topic I want to dive into a teeny bit before you go to the other side.
Sure.
So uh, I saw many of that as well. How, if there is a team conflict, what is the key learning, especially from us, a student, or a teacher
Mm,
from you? What should we do if not happy? We are not happy with the team.
mm,
And what is your key things to remove the conflicts, the guidance?
mm. Yeah, a lot of times it just comes from misunderstandings or um, resentments that are built around things that aren't brought to the surface. So a lot of times students will have a problem, but they won't bring it up because they don't want to upset their teacher, so then they just leave. I can guarantee you that just leaving your teacher without any explanation why is going to hurt their feelings way more than if you can tell them what's bothering you and they can fix it. Give your teacher a chance to fix it. If another student is vying for your spot or is not kind to you or is not um, acting like a good human towards you. Let your teacher is the coach and the team leader. So tell your teacher not to stir up drama, not to get him on your side, but just to let them know that what's going on so that your teacher has an opportunity to address it and to talk about it and maybe even take both of you out for coffee and just lay things out on the table and be like, look, here's what's going on. I don't want it to hurt the team. I noticed that it is hurting the team. There's conflict, there's drama. How can we fix this? You just have to air the grievances and get it all out on the table, so that you can actually talk about it. I know it's uncomfortable to do that. That's definitely my least favorite thing about this industry. But it's a relationship based business and industry, and so when you don't give your teacher or your teammates a chance to fix a problem, that causes a lot of hurt. So that's what I would say.
I love what you say. Actually, that's I always say ballroom dancing. I love it so much. It's not just about dancing, it's about life, right? It's force
Hmm.
you to face some of the relationship, even husband and wife and friendships. We need to get to
Absolutely.
the open and have an open conversation. And I think you pull out one key point as a good teacher. So not all teachers are good if they cannot handle these kind of relationship and be able to address fairly and squarely and be
Yep.
respectful for each of the students to make them even, right? Some teacher will play favorite, some teacher maybe
Yeah.
just looking at income. And that is,
Mm.
I feel, is another things that we as the dancers and need to look for the right ones. It's like finding the right husband. So I feel like finding teachers are harder
It's so
compared to
true.
find the right husband.
Yep. That's so true. I my
So
students, they sometimes they made jokes about how, your their teachers in the past have been like their dance husbands, because it really is a relationship, and you never want to cross boundaries and lines in that regard, but it is a very relationship based business. So knowing how to navigate that is, yeah, so vital.
yeah. So this is good that we go into the other side when I interrupted you. Keep going on there.
Oh yeah, no problem. Um, yeah, so basically what students should look for is, in a teacher is basically, finding someone who is definitely has a growth mindset. So when I was a brand new teacher 20 years ago, I didn't know much about dancing. Knew a little bit, but not much. But I have students that are still with me from my very first days at that studio that I started at, 20 years ago, and they stuck with me because they saw my desire to grow, my desire to get better. They saw me working hard, taking coaching, in the studio first thing in the morning, staying super late, trying to get as many lessons for myself in as possible, as well as teaching lessons, and always bringing all the information that coaches gave to me and just being excited about it, implementing it with everyone, kind of having like a pool of knowledge, and be like, oh, well, I know we worked on this with so and so coach, but let's review that. But there was something from so and so's coaching that I think would really apply here and really help it go even better. So, and I think my students just saw that I was very, very, um, oriented towards growth. A big part of it too is personalities. So you need to look for a teacher who you can learn from, who you want to learn from, and who has a personality that matches yours. Um, and so, you know, sometimes you see this where students will jump from professional to professional because they're all terrible, and they just don't match their personality, or this one doesn't, treat them well enough, and this one's not mean enough, and this one, plays favorites, and this one is too nice to everybody and gives everybody too much of a chance, and this one, is a great dancer but a terrible teacher. And so all those things happen. So with as an amateur, you need somebody who you can learn from, who you want to learn from, who is motivated to learning and growing with you. Because we never stop learning as teachers. And as soon as you think you have all the information and you're the what's what of dancing, then that's the beginning of the end. Like you stop growing, your dancing gets stagnant, you start to feel like you don't want to do this anymore. And at least for me, when I'm learning, I'm in a much better mindset, so that I feel happier and I want to bring the information to my students. Um, that's a big
I
one.
love
Another
the words. Yeah, I love the word you say happy, happier.
happier.
I think that
Yes.
is important in the whole journey from what I see. If you're not happy, we need to
Hmm.
reflect why. and then
Yeah.
start a conversation. So I think.
Yeah, and start a conversation. Don't just leave and go to the saying is like the grass is always greener. Well, it's not. The grass is not always greener. And to be honest, I've heard some judges be like, "Oh, this student, they jump from teacher to teacher to teacher, and it's always the teacher's fault." And it's like, well, if there might be a common denominator. Now, it's not always the student, but sometimes it's the teacher, sometimes it's the student. And my guru, Ray Rivers, always said, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. So sometimes, if your teacher is not growing or evolving with you, um, they might it might be time to move on. So you need to really assess and like, is this person the right one for me right now? Like your dance journey evolves all the time. And so with one of my students, we assess at the end of every year. We do an assessment like, okay, here are our goals. Did we meet those? Yes. Okay, great. Now what's the next thing? Do we meet those? No. Okay, what do we need to do to reach those competitive goals? All right, we need to do X, Y, and Z. Great. Let's spend another year in this level, in this style, and see if we can like, get you to reach your goals. And so at the end of every year, we have that meeting. It's like, okay, do you want to sign up for another year? And I say yes, and she says yes. And so we've been together for about 12 years now, and she's doing great. So that's just one example. The other one is personalities. We also use the Enneagram. My wife can tell you more about this. This is one of her passions and jobs as well. But really understanding personality and how we affect one another in stress and in the good times, the bad, because we can have the best intentions, but if we're really stressed out, and competition can be stressful, um, making sure we understand why the person is acting the way that they are, if it's not quite what we're expecting or wanting. And then the last thing is the making sure that your teacher is very transparent around and has ethical business practices. A lot of teachers early on got mad at me because I would let everyone know what they were actually being charged. Like I know a lot of teachers a long time ago in studios would just say, here's your price for this many dances. And then they would have no idea what they were being charged for. They just knew that it was expensive. And so I always endeavored to show them the breakdown of every single cost and where every penny went. If it went to the competition, if it went to me, if it went to fees, if it went to travel costs, hotel, you name it. And so that way the students, I feel, they felt empowered to make a decision. Our students are smart. I know we're as dance teachers, we are the expert in dancing, but the people who can afford dance are usually experts in their fields. So they are very, very smart and very wise. And so they need to know where their money's going so that they can determine if it's a good investment or not.
So love that. So because I dance compete in 18 years, so that's just one of the things I always advise my team and say, we are smart consumers. We're not stupid.
That's right.
And then we demand know what we need to know, right? So I think that's a mutual respect. So I later on, so at beginning I didn't know, but later on I always ask these questions, even though they don't give it to me, I will ask, and then they will build up a good one always pre already presented to you, like what you said. So knowing, so we can make a decision on our own in our terms, right? So thank you so much. I added Stacy here because you mentioned your wife, and now I invite her to join us, the wonderful family. And it's so interesting to me is that you guys compete and then you guys have your studio at home. How you manage it? You have young kids plus dogs. That could be very demanding, like was there stress, how do you manage that? Maybe ask the lady, always the one that in control, maybe in at home.
Yeah, it takes a lot of communication. It really does. And we actually set aside a time every Sunday. We learned this, we failed at it, and then we learned what to do. We set aside a time every Sunday and we have a schedule meeting. and we go through the schedule for the family and for work. And it takes us about an hour, sometimes a little bit longer, to get through the plan just for the week. Because with Josh's work being in the evenings, and then our children, we have 2 children, we have our 2 dogs, we have our house, we manage the studio, I work, right? I have a coaching business. And so it takes a lot of work to make the schedule work. So we use calendars, they're all color coded, so we know, which color belongs to which person in the family. And we sit down and we review that. And that has reduced a lot of the stress, honestly, because before we did that, it sort of felt like all we ever talked about was the schedule. So once we set aside a dedicated time to sort it through that helped reduce some of the stress around it. It still takes a lot of work to make it happen, but that scheduled time really helps us. The other thing is, we talk a lot about our priorities, and we have to make decisions about what matters most. And so we prioritize really important events for the family, right? Like ensuring that kids' birthdays are always prioritized, holidays are always prioritized as time with family. We try to balance that with our work needs, but knowing that in the end, we're going to make those decisions around those special, those important events for our children and for us and for our family, that those are going to take the top spot is an important part of being able to balance all of this. And I think everyone feeling loved and seen and respected is knowing that kind of where the priorities lie. So yeah, anything else you want to add, hon?
Yeah, it's not easy, but having that time and making sure that we get all the pieces of the puzzle worked out, beginning of the week hits has really made a huge difference in the amount of stress and misunderstandings for sure. So that's been a wonderful practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you're saying, summarize it. That's what I see. Actually, again, it's not just about this. For apply to everyone every day. It's about relationship. It's about communications, right? Clear communication.
Mm.
Understand our priority. And this is all about people keep saying that I don't have enough time. So everybody have 24 hours. It's about how
Mhm.
you prioritize and knowing what you choose, what you do, what you not doing. Sometimes the decision making not doing is as important as what you're doing as well. So I love what you're saying, that so understand each other, communicate, prioritize it, and put it together, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
both agree, you both agree. I think that is so important for this, you can learn. Now I'm going to share a little bit of your dancing while we're talking,
Mm-hmm.
and it's that you guys compete together, right?
Yeah.
So I heard so many people talked about, oh my god, I don't want to compete with my other part, the important part, because I want to keep my marriage alive. And the women's always right at home, how you can listen to the guy. I need, you know, I just want to hear, Stacy and, Josh, you guys talking about how to do it right. You guys are beautiful dancers. How to, keep this relationship and dancing together. Guidance.
Yep. I think we've been through a lot of trial and error with that. I think that it's not always just like the schedule and just like making that work. It's taken us time to sort out what really works. But the communication piece is a huge piece of it, like I mentioned. I think practicing gratitude matters a lot. We get to do this. We have, we have the opportunity to both engage in this art form that we love, to do it together. And sometimes you lose sight of like the gratitude that you get to be able to do that and share that with each other. And you just get the frustration, right, of the whatever it is, the move you're trying to figure out, or the direction you're supposed to have, or the and so stepping back and practicing gratitude is really important, because we have this tremendous gift that we get to share with each other, and we also get to share a family with each other, and it's always good to remember how lucky we are to do that. The other thing I think is mutual respect for what each person brings to the table. And so Josh is obviously the pro, he's the teacher, and that's something that I have to remember and respect. And at the same time, when he in turn respects my abilities and what I know as a lifelong dancer, that really helps things to go well.
That's beautiful. I would say what you said, the two keywords, I want to practice again, even to myself. And then,
Mm,
sometimes we take things for granted.
yes,
Great gratitude even for our partner to be able to dance, to be able to walk on dance floor, have the
that's right.
ability to dance. It's such a, to me, is not easy. If we can do that already is amazing.
Yeah.
So put the small things aside and just focus on the good. Is great. So mutual respect, between the
Mhm,
customer or the teachers and the partners, is so important. That's
mhm,
beautiful. So
mhm,
we have don't want to spend too much time on that. So this is beautiful on that. I will keep talking about that. I can talk about it forever, but we need to leave some time to talk about the Unity Dance community,
mhm.
right? You guys are proud affiliate for that. And then you talk about the faith. You were talking about the gratitude on that. So I think it's related to that. I'll give you a little bit time to share about this amazing
Sure.
community.
Sure. So, um, one thing I was going to say about the practice, and it kind of goes in with this, is that especially as the teacher, but even the student, your intention for what each day, what each practice is going to be, right?
Mhm,
So that intentionality of your actions, really it guides everything. If you go into something unintentionally, usually doesn't work out. So with UDC, we have Unity Dance Community. My intention in ballroom dance is actually shifting. So Shalene Archer and Dennis Woods are the founders of this. It is a faith-based business, and their intention behind it was, okay, we were dance professionals at the highest level. We love dance, but we're kind of ready to step out of the limelight. And dance is such a me focused, me oriented activity. So what they felt that they were lacking was, what about we? What about the community? How can I give back? How can I use my skills as a dance instructor at the highest level and bring it to more people in an affordable way? And so they came up with Unity Dance Community. So basically, it's progressive classes. It's essentially 6 group class series and then parties, and then they're in church spaces. And so basically, it's a time for church members and non-church members to come together to learn dance. If somebody's hasn't set foot in a dance studio ever or a church ever, it kind of puts people on equal playing field, and it's a chance for them to mix and mingle, form relationships within without the church, and it's an opportunity for us as the teachers to give back um, to the community and to help grow and build the community, and also get more people interested in dancing at one time. I know they have some classes that are 50 to 100 people, so if we are only teaching one-on-one, we can only affect that one person. But when you do that group class, you can touch the lives of 100 people in that hour instead of just one. So that's the main thing, and just putting God first, putting our mission, our passion, and our faith ahead of our own personal gain. That is what Unity Dance Community is all about.
Such a beautiful community, and then the mind. I'm so grateful for people like you guys, right? I love dancing. It is my passion. That's why I'm doing this, to share this passion, share the joy of
mhm.
dancing, and then be able to, physically, minds, especially on the aging population. And then loneliness has been one of the pandemic problem. I
Yeah.
really truly believe it could be one of the solution that solve some of the issues that we have today about communication, about connection, about people, about relationships. And not just stay at home and then do your own thing and then get the community. We are human. Human are creature of community, right?
Yes.
So I really truly appreciate you share this. And we don't have a lot of time, but I'm grateful for you guys to share this. And I'm hoping if the audience, I don't have time to ask questions, if the audience have more questions, and please send it to us. We're going to continue to address in our connections. And Josh and Stacy, if you guys have more information about the Unity dance community, I can put it into the detail as well and then send it to people to learn more about it. And thank you so much for your time. And if you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'm hoping more and more people can share the joy of ballroom dancing. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me try to stop.